Hello witches, it's Dragabella. The purpose of my video today is to tell you about this grimoire that I got. It hadn't arrived in the last video that I made. It's by Oberon Zellravenheart. You guys probably know him if you've heard of him. He's known for breeding live unicorns. His first living unicorn, I believe, became a star of Ringling Brothers Circus. And him and his life partner, Morning Glory, discovered what was a lost secret that I believe was heavily guarded by people, you know, like who considered to be wizards. Anyway, they take goats, and when they have their little buds, instead of the horns forming two, there's a formula that they use to somehow get it to make only one horn. It causes the skull to develop differently, which causes the brain to develop differently, which is why unicorns are considered to be so sacred and smarter than, other animals. It probably has something to do with the frontal orbital cortex. That's the part of the brain associated in people as being the part of the brain that allows us to think and reason and invent things and come up with like conceptual ideas and all that. So they're smarter than others. So yeah, and they're actual live, real unicorns. Even though I think they all would have, if they weren't manipulated, would develop as regular goats. But anyway, the book is amazing. It was inspired by Harry Potter, the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. People who are fans probably have always fantasized about there being a real Hogwarts. So this guy developed this book targeted towards people who want to learn to be wizards. Even though this is kind of considered like targeted towards kids, I think, maybe high school age, it's so stock full of information. Just information, information, information. I actually read it from cover to cover. It talks about the details and history of pretty much like everything. It's like every book you ever read about witchcraft put into one book. There's every table you could want, mathematical, chemistry tables, planetary tables, all the gods, goddesses, deities, where they came from, who used them. There's histories from the dawn of time to now. Every known person associated with anything magical. He was inspired a lot by like Lord of the Rings, Gandalf. He actually looks like Gandalf. He has a big long beard and everything, and he dresses like a wizard. Looks just like a wizard. I think I have a picture of him in the back of the book. There he is. There's stuff in here about the earth and how it formed and different chemical makeup and why those different chemicals have different qualities, and stuff about the color spectrum, how and why the colors work for magic, and for why they're associated with things they're associated with. There are experiments in here on mind control, getting your mind to work in a more magical way. There's all kinds of experiments in here to do, to practice. The different colors of different practices, like magic. Orange magic is illusionary magic. Healing. Green magic. Gray is like the Gandalf the Grey. Lore mastery is what that is. Black is obviously Satanism and demonology. It talks about all the different tools of a wizard. There's tables of all kinds of correspondences. Angels, deities, plants, gems, colors, seasons, minerals. There's alchemy in here. There's math in here. Math is very magical. Pythagorean theory, triads and trinities, elements, planets, days, chakras. Then there's some stuff about doing magic, sympathetic magic, high versus low magic, different laws, the law of resonance, human will, astral light, law of connectedness, just so many things that you'll be here for a long time. It took me several days to get through the whole book, and I pretty much did nothing but read. I love it, especially for all the different charts and correspondences in here. It's like if you only needed one book, it would be this. And it goes into like a lot more detail than you would think. Like, just the little tiny section on rats is huge. There's a lot to read about each animal, each color, each number, each eclipse, the sun, the moon, telling time by the sun and stars. There's stuff about constellations, astrology, astronomy, the planets, all different rules. He even knows when there's different meteor showers. There's just so much stuff. He even has the names of the stars and their distance from the earth, their colors, what they're associated with. I just can't even tell you how awesome this book is. It talks about just everything you can possibly want to know. And then if you want to know more, you can obviously get more books and study more intense into whatever the subject is. But there is like a history of pretty much anything and everything you want to know about magic in this book. It is awesome. I can't believe I got it for so cheap, because anytime I've looked for used grimoires, even the used versions are like $50 for anything that's like a decent actual study book. Because we've all read the books on witchcraft, and usually they're just basic Wicca introduction books. 99% of the books that I have found all say the same thing. They're all about the Sabbats, how to cast a circle, the color associations, and all that. Candle magic, basics. So if you know the basics and you want to get more in-depth into things and you want a book that is a real reference material, I love this. I'm going to have to read it several times to retain all the information. And it's just awesome. I love it. And I've been pretty disappointed. Once I reached like my second degree, it's really hard to kind of advance from there unless you go to some kind of a school, or you have somebody that you're learning under. Advancing, it takes a lot more work, because you have to really work hard to find good materials. But this is a pretty good study material. So I wanted to share that. And also I saw a really cool ritual on making fairy boats that I thought I would share. They suggested that you do it in like a large bowl or like a barrel in your yard to attract fairies, and tinkle like a little bell. Let's see, I have a little bell over here. They don't like big bells. That's why there's cowbells, because in the old days they put the big bell on the cow so that the naughty fairies wouldn't tamper with their livestock. But these little bells are said to attract fairies. So anyway, you take a walnut and some birthday candles. You pour the wax into half a walnut shell and then set it in the center and push the boat. You can do it in a bowl, obviously, or I'd rather do it in a pond or a lake or something and set a bunch of them afloat. And you see the little fairy boats going. So I thought that was nice. August is supposed to be a month. I know in India where they celebrate Ganesh. Ganesh is the god with an elephant head. He is known as being, he was once a servant to one of the goddesses. I forget right now which one. But one of the gods, her consort, was coming to visit, and he wouldn't let the god in to see her because she said she didn't want to see anybody, and he chopped his head off. So she was so upset, and to console her, he said the first animal that came by, he could have the head, and it happened to be an elephant. So Ganesh has the elephant head, and he has like a jolly little fat bellied body. He's known to be holding some stuff. I forget what it is that he holds. But they really love him. The people of, I think it's India. I'm pretty sure it's India. And last August, I did a ritual involving him, and I think I'm going to do it again. In it, you write your requests on a piece of parchment, and you put it under your Ganesh statue or any elephant or statue that would represent him to you. And you let it stay for 3 days. I believe the offerings that you give are red sandalwood. It's a little bit expensive, but well worth it. And last year, my requests were answered, so I will honor him again, and probably this will become my August ritual from now on. So I hope you guys are doing well. Blessed be. Bye.